Hello, Dan Edwards here with the Eastside Real Estate Team, and this is your market update for February 2018. I'll probably get in trouble for having this music on, but let's see if I can turn it down in the background there. But kind of reviewing the numbers from 2018 for February. Let's get started. I want to give you just a brief national picture. If you take a look at this chart, it shows year-over-year appreciation for the state of Washington's 12%, and we'll get a little bit more granular as we go through this report. Next up is what's causing the majority of depreciation across the country, and that is our low inventory, which you've probably heard me say on every single one of these reports now for the last 5-6 years. Now, let's just jump right into the King County numbers. Essentially what we're seeing for King County is our median home price is now $590, and that's February. Our median home price was up 16.60%, so that outpaced Washington State by 4 percentage points. Total inventory is down 4.86%. We've seen bigger numbers in the past, so this is nice that it's not that big. And then pending sales down 6.03%. So fewer homes went into contract in February, but we did have a record number of closed sales, up 4.78% for February. So those are King County's numbers. Now let's look at the East Side. The East Side median home price in February was $845,000. That's up 22% from last year. Total inventory up 1.31. So this is our consistent problem, as we are not getting gains in inventory, and only 543 homes available at the end of February. Pending sales were up 780. You can see that that number exceeds the total inventory, so you're getting homes that come and go in a month's time, so you're not seeing a lot stick around. And then closed sales up 5.38%. That's pretty brisk. And here's kind of the breakout by cities. This chart only allows me to do 4 different cities, but you can see the last 3 years, the reduction in inventory in Bellevue, Kirkland, Redmond, and Issaquah. Down, let's see, 18%, then 20% for Bellevue, 28%, and then 4.1%. So not so bad in Kirkland. They're getting a little more inventory. Let's look at the charts here for median sales price. You can see how they're just rising for these cities. On average, it looks like we've got 18.5%, 16.4%, 13.5%, and 15.7% in those cities. So our market activity, as you can see, is heading in the direction that it heads every spring, and we're looking to be pretty strong as far as what our market activity is going to continue to do as we go through the year. Now here's the big question, and this is the item that I want to spend a little bit of time in, is the question that we get here is, it's another bubble. It's getting ready to burst. And I want to bring your attention to the chart here on the page, basically discussing the appreciation, the actual appreciation that we saw over the last 17 years. And you'll see 2014, 15, 16, 2004, 5, and 6, the run-up to the previous housing bubble, which is pretty catastrophic for a lot of people, especially folks that bought there in 2006 and 2007. Well, one of the things that we are looking at is what is the regression to the mean, I guess is a way to put it. But what would have happened if we never had that run up in 2004 through 2007? Well, essentially what you're seeing here, and this next chart kind of puts it clear, is if you take typical appreciation year over year, starting in 2000 going through 2017, what do you get? And you'll see with this chart that it basically evens it out. So where we sit now is a little below where we should be if we had normal appreciation through the year. So it's not as much of a bubble as it is a correction. So you can get more into that, but let me explain why where we sit now is significantly different than where we were before. This right here shows the availability of credit. And everybody talks to go watch The Big Short. You'll learn specific, maybe not totally specifically, but you'll learn in an interesting way what exactly happened. And to boil it into one statement, credit money was cheap and easy to get a hold of. All you had to do was fog a mirror. So you can see that when that stopped, we regressed quite a bit to a more constrictive lending process, one that still remains pretty constrictive, meaning you do need to have to afford to buy a home to buy one. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? So My biggest concern that I have right now is what is going to happen with regards to interest rates. And really, what we're talking about in the housing market is not about appreciation, it's about affordability. Can you afford to buy a home? And what impacts that? Of course, housing prices are one factor, but another factor is interest rates. So since probably the last 4 months, we've seen interest rates go from the high threes to the mid fours. And right now they sit nationwide at about 4.3%. In some days, some weeks, they've gone up to 4.6. And it all depends on your specific ability to qualify. But I want to show you the effect of your purchasing power. So if the median home price on the east side is 800,000, this is kind of your chart to look at for affordability. If you were looking at a home right now at the 4.5% interest rate, your monthly payment will be about $45.60. Okay. Now, to maintain that same monthly payment and afford the same amount of home, if interest rates do go up, you're increasing your monthly payment every month, or you're decreasing your affordability depending on what you're going to do. So if you obviously have a budget and you don't plan on spending more, then if you're at the 4.5 and interest rates climb, you're suddenly able to afford less of a home. So that is kind of the concern. Now, also too, there's a concern in, well, if I buy and maybe a few years from now I go to sell, it's going to be harder to sell because I'm buying at the top. And this next chart here kind of shows where the cumulative appreciation will be in approximately 4 years. So the most positive people are thinking, well, you'll gain about 27% appreciation. The most negative Nellies out there think, well, 8.3. So if you kind of go in between those two, you're right at the 18.2%. So that is, the idea that the bubble's going to burst. Even the most negative folks don't see that as being the case. So here's where they think interest rates are going to be over the next few quarters. So really what we're doing is trying to get out the word with what's going on in the market, how that relates to you. I hope that you found this information useful. That is our monthly report for February 2018. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Dan Edwards with the Eastside Real Estate Team, and if you need anything, give us a call. Thanks.